We are back with a brand new video. What is good, Heat Nation? In today's video, we're going to be discussing a couple of trade rumors that have been associated with the Miami Heat over the past week. Starting off with D'Angelo Russell and then talking about Tim Hardaway Jr. Make sure you guys stick around till the end of the video. And then we're going to be, recapping the past couple of wins that we've had, Dewayne Dedmon's future on this team, Kyle Lowry's future on this team, and all that good stuff. So make sure you guys stick around till the end of the video. Leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new, and basically just turn on post notifications and make sure you guys never miss a video of mine. Go follow my Twitter and subscribe to my second channel in the description. Let's get right into it. So I don't even know where to start, but I'm probably just gonna start with the recap of the two games, like real quick. Then we're gonna move on to D'Angelo Russell and Tim Hardaway Jr. trade rumors. Basically, the Heat are on a 2-game winning streak. They've won at home twice, and I think that this is a start of something. I think. Not a resurgence, but like a slight turnaround for the Heat, because I've seen in these last couple of games something that I haven't seen all season, especially in the Bucks game, which was a win because of our rebounding. When is the last time you can say the Miami Heat won a game because of their rebounding? Like, you probably cannot. So to see the Heat win a game in which they won because of their rebounding, especially on the offensive glass, was really, really nice to see. Now, granted, there was no Giannis, but the Heat were also a little shorthanded as well. No Tyler Hero, no Kyle Lowry, no Caleb Martin, and I'm pretty sure they're missing a couple of other players too. Obviously, Dewayne Dedmon got suspended, but it wasn't a completely healthy Heat roster either. But a lot of the guys played extremely well. Gabe Vincent had a career high. Shout out to Gabe. This must feel really, really good for Gabe, because the whole season's kind of been a struggle for him. He's been shooting the ball extremely poorly. So for him to finally, get a game where he's shooting the ball extremely well, he probably had to feel really good about that, and he was just kind of taking what the defense gave him. In the post-game interview, he talked about how, since the Bucks were shorthanded, they didn't really have a lot of their defensive stoppers out there. It was really only Drew Holiday and Javon Carter who were above average perimeter defenders out there for the Bucks. And every other matchup he was really able to go at. So, I really liked Gabe Vincent's play. And also Victor Oladipo. I do want to give a quick shout out to Victor Oladipo, because he's been balling. I do have to owe Victor Oladipo a slight apology, because I feel like I judged him way too quickly, and that's on me. I talked about I'm pretty sure I uttered the words. I was like, I don't even know if he's gonna be a good sixth man for us, because I don't know if his offensive game is ever gonna come back. But if you just give it time, I guess it slowly comes back, and Victor Oladipo looks really, really good. I'm not saying he looks like Indiana Oladipo, because that is a different level, but right now he looks like an extremely good off the bench player. And obviously, shout out to Jimmy and Bam for doing their thing. Jimmy in the first game, 35 points, a ton of free throws, but got the game winning and won. And then shout out to Bam. Bam in the second game, he didn't play the first game against OKC because of his wrist injury, but in the second game, he played extremely, extremely well. I think 24 and 12 or something. He's definitely an all-star this season. If he's not an all-star, there's something wrong with the voting system. But short recap of those two. Now we can actually get into what the video is about, which is trade rumors. And we'll start off with D'Angelo Russell. And here I'm going to show you guys a couple of, I'm going to show you a package for each trade that I found. If y'all want to add some stuff to the package, I will be modifying these, just by me saying maybe we should add this and this, but these are not my packages. These are packages created by fans. The first one is a straight swap between Kyle Lowry and D'Angelo Russell. Now, I do understand that the report from Jake Fisher said that a straight swap for Kyle Lowry is unlikely, but I really don't know how else you make up the salary that D'Angelo Russell is making, because the report said Miami is eyeing D'Angelo Russell, but a straight swap for Kyle Lowry seems unlikely. Now let's pause for a second there. D'Angelo Russell, as y'all can see from this trade, is making $31 million. How else do we make up the money? Even if we throw in Duncan Robinson's contract, that's only $18 million. We would still need another $13 million contract to be thrown in on top of that. So to me, I don't really see a world in which we get D'Angelo Russell where Kyle Lowry is not involved. And to be honest, like I said, I'm out on Kyle Lowry, and I don't really mind giving him up. Like, I would do this straight swap. Obviously, the Timberwolves are probably not, because Lowry is older and, you know, his contract is a little longer. But, you know, if you throw in maybe like a second or a couple of second round picks or something to sweeten the deal a little bit for the Timberwolves, then I feel like they would do this trade. D'Angelo Russell is I would take a chance on him, especially because the experiment with Lowry has not worked. You know, like Gabe Vincent, I honestly don't see that much of a difference between him and Kyle Lowry right now. So like D'Angelo Russell, it's not bad to take a flyer on. Now, obviously, trading Kyle Lowry means that we basically lose any chance of getting a power forward, because I don't really understand or like see a way for us to get a 4 without Kyle Lowry being involved. Again, nobody's gonna want Duncan Robinson, and apart from that, I don't really know who else we're gonna be giving up. Like, what other player are the Heat gonna be putting on the trade block? Apart from Lowry and Robinson, I don't really see any other obvious trade candidates that the Heat could offer for anybody else. Now, what I would do and what I would try to do in a potential D'Angelo Russell deal is try to see if we can get Naz Reid from the Timberwolves as well. The reason I say Naz Reid is because I think Naz Reid is a top 3 backup center in the league. I think he's been really, really underrated ever since he was at LSU. You know, Naz Reid at LSU was a demon as well, but even in the league, bro, like Naz Reid is a very, very good backup center. And even in the game against Miami, when we won that game with like no Bam, Orlando Robinson like outplayed Rudy Gobert, Naz Reid was outplaying Rudy Gobert as well on his own team. Like, he was probably the best center, you know, on the Timberwolves that night. And a lot of times he is. Like, Naz Reid he's a dog, bro. Like, I really like Naz Reid's game. I think that if you can get Naz Reid and D'Angelo Russell, you fix a lot of your issues there, because, you know, you get a reliable backup. You probably have to give up Dwayne Dedmon, which is fine. We'll talk about Dedmon. I don't think Dedmon's going to play another game in a Heat uniform. But, you know, Dedmon, cool. You're giving up Dwayne Dedmon and you're giving up Kyle Lowry, but you're getting back D'Lo and Naz Reid. To me, it sounds like the Heat are kind of getting away with robbery here. So you might have to throw in a pick or 2 or maybe something like that. Definitely not 2 picks, or maybe like 1 pick, maybe a first, like 1 first, Lowry and Naz and Dedmon for Naz Reid and D'Lo. I think that's a good trade for both sides, because let's be honest, you know, Lowry and Dedmon for Naz Reid and D'Lo is an automatic win for the Heat. Naz Reid is like 10 times better than Dedmon. D'Lo is better than Lowry, and his contract is, you know, you're getting off his contract at the end of the year. It's an expiring deal. You don't have to deal with it for 2 years. It's a W for the Heat without any picks. So you got to throw in some draft capital to make it fair. But yeah, like, would I do a potential D'Angelo Russell deal? I would definitely entertain it more than a Tim Hardaway Jr. deal, which is what we're going to be looking at next. But again, does it fix all our issues? No, because we're still lacking a 4. I don't think Caleb Martin's a 4. He's more of a 3 to me, and I don't really think he should be starting for this team. Even though, like, it's not his fault, he's not playing bad or anything. I just don't think that he's a power forward. So we're still lacking that, you know, that 4. And maybe you just have to like cut your losses with that, or maybe just go out and get Jay Crowder for like cheap. But D'Lo would fix a lot of the issues, because he is say what you want about him this season, he's always been a decent to good scorer. You know, he can definitely put the ball in the basket. He has those times. Now, obviously, in the past couple of seasons with the Timberwolves, his role has changed, so he hasn't really been more of a scoring type. But he is a scorer. He can score the ball. He can definitely facilitate too. That's what he's improving right now. He's improving his facilitation, and you know, I think that he would fit really well next to Jimmy, and they're really well next to Bam, Tyler, because he can play on and off the ball. He's learned to play off the ball recently. Yeah, I think that D'Lo would be a lot better than Kyle on this team, to be honest. And you know, we'll talk about the second deal real quick, and let's just get into it. If you guys can see this on the screen, we have Tim Hardaway Jr., Dwight Powell, and a second-round pick for Lowry and Dedmon. Now, the reason this says failed is because Dedmon cannot be traded until January 15th, which is tomorrow. So, yeah, I think that, you know, this is a W for the Heat, because not only are you getting off of Kyle Lowry's deal and you're getting rid of Dwayne Dedmon, and you're getting Tim Hardaway Jr., who's a solid, you know, catch and shoot, maybe 3-and-D if you want to say he plays defense, and you're getting Dwight Powell, who's a good backup center. Now, would I do this, or would I rather do the D'Angelo Russell deal? I would definitely do the D'Angelo Russell deal, because Tim Hardaway Jr., I mean, I guess he's fixing some issues because he's a shooter and he's gonna make shots, I guess, but he's not like the most consistent. Like, he's very hot and cold, and I mean, like, does that really fix, like, do we really need another guy who's just gonna like spot up? Like, he can't really create his own shot for himself. In the half court, our offense will still be the same. I get that, you know, our offense would be respected more because you have another, you know, floor spacer out there. But again, there is a big difference between the half court shot creation ability of D'Angelo Russell and the shot creation ability of Tim Hardaway Jr. Now, again, I don't really understand like why the Heat would do this trade unless like they're just trying to do some last resort type trade. Like, there's two sides to this, because there's one side that just says, you know, who cares, just get rid of Kyle Lowry. Any deal that's getting rid of Kyle Lowry's contract and Dwayne Dedmon is a W for me. That's what some Heat fans think. But some Heat fans will also think like, you know, we should actually trade Lowry for people who would help this team. And Tim Hardaway Jr. wouldn't make this team worse, but like, would he really make us that much better? Because what would the starting lineup be? It would probably be Hero at point guard, and you'd probably have Hardaway Jr., Butler, Caleb Martin, and Bam. I guess on paper that's not like terrible, but again, I worry about that defense of Hero and Tim Hardaway Jr. Not saying D'Angelo Russell is a good defender either, but for what, you know, D'Angelo Russell lacks as a defender, he's a lot better offensively than Tim Hardaway Jr. So I would much rather do the D'Lo deal. Another player that I'm going to be keeping an eye on is Fred VanVleet from the Toronto Raptors, because I think that, you know, him and D'Angelo Russell make the same amount of money, like similar amount of money. Him and Kyle Lowry, I'm pretty sure, actually are a lot closer in contract values than D'Lo. D'Lo's in the 30s. Fred's probably like what? I think his contract's like 27 as well. So he is someone that I'm keeping an eye on, because the Raptors could blow this thing up very soon. You know, trading Fred is a sign that they're going into a rebuild, and Fred has not been playing the best this season, which is why I think they might move him like sooner than later. I could see a potential 3-team trade happening between the Timberwolves, the Heat, and the Raptors, where what the Raptors or the Heat get either D'Lo or Kyle Lowry, and we get either D'Lo or Fred, and then the Timberwolves get Kyle Lowry or Fred. So I think that, you know, I could see a potential 3-team trade, you know, happening in this situation. Again, there's been no reports of it, so this is just me speculating, but that's someone I'm keeping an eye on, Fred VanVleet of Toronto, as far as, you know, possible trade targets for the Heat. Now, as far as power forwards are concerned, again, there's not really many out there. Jay Crowder has still not been traded. I don't really know what the situation is with him. I don't really think a team wants to trade for Jay Crowder when he hasn't been playing the whole season. Now, I don't know. The Heat could still be interested because Jay Crowder was a big part of them reaching the finals in 2020. But again, there's probably a big discrepancy between what other teams value Jay Crowder and what the Suns, you know, value him, and they're probably going to be asking for a lot more than the Heat want to give up. So Jay Crowder, Saddiq Bey, Bojan Bogdanovic, Kyle Kuzma are all realistic options. And I believe that one of them could be a Miami Heat, but again, there's not really many rumors out there of the Heat like aggressively pursuing either one of them. So it's probably going to be just the players that we're talking about, Tim Hardaway Jr., D'Angelo Russell, and yeah, man, a lot of these other players that have been on the market. But that's where we're going to wrap up the video. Hopefully y'all enjoyed the video. Let me know down in the comment section below. Tim Hardaway Jr., D'Angelo Russell, who is your ideal trade target for the Miami Heat? I'll see y'all later as always. Peace.